Hey you guys, back again. Got a little surprise for you. I'm gonna put that in that. No, yeah, right, no kidding. That's a Prius motor, and that's gonna go in there. So stay tuned. Hey, so we're back, and the very first thing you need to do before you take a motor out of your car is have the Freon evacuated out of the system. Very first thing. Don't dump it in the air. Have it evacuated out. It's gonna save you money, because then that mechanic that evacuated it out for you then can put it back in. See you in a minute. All right, so first things first. As you can see, I got the whole subframe and everything. Rack and pinion, all the good stuff, all the wiring, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. Well, first, we're gonna start off with this right here. That's your rack and pinion. That's your steering wheel. And what I did the first time was pull out my steering wheel and messed up the clock springs because I just spun them, you know, kind of like a top. And don't do that. So I have learned you can just go down into there. Okay. And I didn't realize there was another joint up here, and this was a slide type shaft. And you see I have a little mark right there. That's just a reference. And I put one on the other car, which it's not going to make any difference, but it's just going to make sure that I haven't spun something around and put it in the wrong place. So, pull this piece off. Got these two little white nuts on them. Spin them off. This comes out. And we're going to take that nut out, and we're going to slide that knuckle up off that shaft. See you in a minute. First things first, you want to make sure your steering wheel's not going to move after you've pulled that knuckle off. So what we're going to do now is just simply put some tape on this thing and tape the heck out of it. And I'm sure somebody's got some special tool that will hold this from moving, but I don't, so this is what we're doing. Now I've already lined my car up with my lift, so once I pull that knuckle loose, you can see it's not going anywhere. Once I pull that knuckle loose, I can just, and the reason I'm doing it this way is because it was tight quarters when I had the car forward and can't really open the door. So we'll get that knuckle pulled loose and move the car forward, and yeah, just all right. I think it's my first time, and these have a lot of Loctite on them, so they don't want to come off real easy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will help a little bit. There you go. Pry bar. And come up and slide up at the same time. Come up this way. Takes a little finagling, but it'll go. There. Just grab it and yank it up. Now make sure that doesn't just drop down on you like it's wanting to right now. Because you don't want that slip joint to come apart. I'm going to tuck that right back there. Because if that comes apart, there's needle bearings, all kinds of fun stuff to deal with. And you will have to take your steering wheel out. So, there's that. Thought I had such a good plan on that steering wheel deal and then just move my car forward a little bit and, you know, clearance on the door, but I didn't do that. I taped the steering wheel before, but it was up against the posts, so I didn't think about, you know, the washer thing. So before you do anything else, go in the back, clean it out. Take all your stuff out. This right here, that. Pull this out. Now we have access to the big battery. Disconnect the big battery. Pull it. Do that. That disconnects your big battery. Simple. Now disconnect. Oh wait. The little battery. We have two. This runs all your electronics in your car and whatnot. That runs your hybrid part. Your motor, basically. So, want to disconnect them both so you don't have any problems whatsoever. Don't knock that off. You need that little breather. And then take this off. Whoops, didn't go that far. Come on, there we go. This is the ground. Right, we'll just take it off because it's wanting to be a problem already. There we go. Yeah, drop that nut down in there. So, on to the next step. All right, next step. After we've disconnected the batteries, we can now start working in this area. First off, we have to pull this out, just like if you were changing your plugs. For people who have changed their plugs, you have to pull the whole dash out to change your plugs. I know. So, simple little, this is a clip right there. Little clip comes right off. Have a parts bucket ready to go, so you don't lose things. Use bags, label the bags. Set your wipers to where they are in the resting position. This makes things a lot easier. This is a 14 millimeter. 14 millimeter. Up here, up here. Well, because of a malfunction of a piece of crap GoPro, it's brand new. I have now, I was removing that over there, and I wanted to show you if we can do it like we're supposed to, which is lift up on the clip there, and then it slides out that way. So, yeah, that worked. Well, that's broken off, so it didn't really matter. So what happens a lot of times, these clips, kind of self-explanatory, they just push back. You can push them back from underneath or from on top. And then this whole panel, don't need to remove this. This whole panel will just come plopping out of there. So, on to the next thing. Alright, next I'm going to remove these clips, and these aren't the originals because the others broke. They would look like these right here. And try not to move the camera too much because it's going to freak out. Hopefully we can get through this whole thing and not miss a bunch of stuff. Put that in something in a minute. In a bag. Next, I'm going to remove this, which is, I'm going to remove it here. There's screws down underneath the filter, as well as there and there. I say screw ups, I mean bolts. So. All right, removing the air box. We also have the map sensor right here. Simply push and it pulls right out. And when I mean push, I mean push that little tab right there. See how that moves? That releases it. Don't try to pry it off with a screwdriver. Okay, bolt, 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 and bolt. And that will come right up out of there. As soon as you remove that cover, just ease up on it so you don't break it. It's just in rubber grommets. And one more bolt. got that out of there. So this one's easy. I just keep the bolts in there. I'll put that back on. Put that. Got its own little case. The other thing I forgot we were doing. It's nice to find that. See, I may have a case of ADHD, but I got distracted because of my crappy camera. You don't want to find that up in there. That would be a little mouse nest. Little critter, especially in a hybrid. That's not good. I think the cat got him the other day. But anyway, back to this part. If the camera's working, seems to be. 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter unplug, which is another, squeeze it again and it comes off. Like so. Gotta pop this clip off. I have no good way to pop those clips out. It's a hit and a miss whether you save them or not. So since I've had these out before, changing my plugs, these are going to just fall out. They will not come out this easy. They're broken. Over there. Okay, now you have multiple 10 millimeters to remove. Here, 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 there, back there, and it's easier just to remove this, and remove the bracket. That, back there, and right there. And there's probably 20 other that I've forgotten about in the last 24 hours. This has a little door that folds down. This one too, but it fell off. So when you try to pull that out without those pushed over, it'll fight you a little bit. All right, so that is out of there. Now we got all kinds of room down in here, which you're not really going to do much. You're going to go underneath. This is your fuel line that we're going to disconnect, but we'll disconnect that in a minute. Next thing I need to do is drain some fluid. Probably could have done that first, but I didn't, so we'll see in a minute. All right, to get to draining the fluid, I need to remove the motor splash shield. You can see that right there, motor splash shield. That made me dizzy walking around. Not all splash shields look like this. They usually have a cover here. That's so you pull that down, change your oil. Mine was gone when I got the car. So we're going to be removing let's see, bolts. This one, this, no, not that one, this one, sorry, and a bunch of clips. So like I said, have clips ready because that one's broke, that'll break, so that comes down and we got clips. And I'm not going to make you watch that. I'll show it to you after I'm done. Alright, well, we're draining the inverter fluid right now. And that is the little drain plug right there. I know you're thinking, well, that's not the inverter. Well, yeah, it's connected to that inverter up there by these two hoses. And that's the drain plug. You have to remember to loosen the cap on your inverter reservoir. Motherfucker. Piece of shit. Alright, well, we're going to drain the fluid from the inverter. That's your inverter drain. Takes a 10mm Allen. Loosen the cap on your reservoir. And I don't know if you noticed my handy dandy little holder for my drain bucket. And I'm desperately trying to keep the camera from messing up. So I'm gonna set you right there, nice and easy. I use a big ratchet. And just hit it with a hammer, as you'll see in a second. Well, that's going to tighten it, so that won't work. And she pops loose, just like that. See what I did there? And the little zip tie sticking out there. Always something. Anyway, that's drained. Now, this little washer that's on here, it's a squish washer, whatever you want to call it, should be replaced. I'm not. just putting her back so I don't forget it, and torque that to spec. And there we go. Now there's two hoses here that I believe I just showed you. This one and this one that have to come off. So I'm going to take those off, and then we're going to, well, you know, we don't have to watch that, but that's the petcock for the radiator. You just twist a little yellow thing up there, and it'll drain out, and that drains your radiator. Be sure to loosen the cap on the reservoir, so it will drain out. See you in a minute. All right, while your fluid's draining, you can take your tires off. This panel has to come off, which is 4 clips, as well as the one on the other side has to come off. And this is what happens when you bottom out too much. Wears that off, and then they end up on the floor when you unbolt them. All these have to come out, these bolts, when you remove the splash shield from the motor. Oh, and by the way, that's the drain plug for the transmission, and that's how you fill it. You put fluid in there until it comes out, and then it's full. So anyhow, it's still draining. See you in a minute. And to get to this panel, you need to remove the clips and bolts out of here, so then you can get to inside there. All right, our water is done draining out of the little petcock dealie, so I closed that back up because it was just dripping. So I'm gonna now remove this hose, which is the bottom radiator hose, and the top radiator hose, which is this one up in here. You can see that right there. It's easier to get to from the top once you remove the inverter. So let's see if I can do this one-handed. The camera messing up. Squeeze that clamp. Move it out of the way. Then well, I'm gonna have to get my clamp on there, or my pliers, and twist that hose. Gently grab it and twist it if you can, so it'll break it loose, and then it'll slide right off. Just so you know, I already broke it loose, but big C clamps, get it to twist like that, and then if you grab it up close to the radiator and lightly pry like so, or just grab it with your hand, however you want to do it, it's fine with me. But just, you know, little trick, and then that happens. Always fluid in there somewhere. Next. All right, since we had the car up in the air, or we're under here, whatever, we might as well go into the exhaust, which is another coolant hose, and another one up in there. That one is a real pain, but at first we got to remove this little shield. next we want to take off or unhook O2 sensor, 10mm bolt, and we've got the clip from behind back there. Press that down, you can see it move. I think you can. Maybe. Can you? See it move? Sure you can. Push it down and pull. Yeah, that's how it works. Every time. Voila. This one, I'm just going to put in the bracket. It's just one bolt. There's that. This hose right here will spray fluid on you. I'm gonna have to get another bucket because my other one's full. Be right back. All right, here we go. Squeeze your clamp, move it back. And I suggest you just get new hoses when you do this. Because that one up there, I'm probably just gonna, that one on top, I'm probably just gonna cut. It's just easier to do it that way. And I'm gonna warn you, it's like $40, $50 hose. But I'm gonna block your view because I'm gonna take this hose off. Didn't know your coolant ran through your exhaust, did ya? Let that drain for a little bit. All right, we've got our hoses off. I cut the top one. Brackets off the O2. Now, to get the rest of the exhaust, start back here. Take these off. These are 14s. Leave this. This will help you a little bit for a minute. And then you've got 14s up there at the manifold, if you can see it, right up there, one on each side. So let's get busy on that. All right, bolts are loose up there, hoses are off. It's off in the back. Tripping over tools. Now, remove. Got to remove the little rubber doodads, and that's just I just did this. Just did it, and I don't remember how. Imagine that. But this works. That's why I left that cross member up there. I know it wasn't that hard. I'm gonna fight with it. Be right back. Okay, the pliers and hitting it with the hammer that way worked much better. And same with the one in the back. And there we go, finally. Okay, so that's out. All right, exhaust is out, that's off. Blah, blah, blah. Put the bolts back in there. This has to come off. And we can do that now. Alright, we're taking these little triangles off now. So right here. We're going to take these little triangles off now, right here, which that's the mount to the subframe. Okay. And that's your subframe bolt. And don't worry, it's not going anywhere. You have one in the center and two more up front. That's good. Okay, gotta remove 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here. I'm not removing them all, just part of them, because I'm not ready to take it down yet. Do not take this one out until you're ready to drop the whole thing. This part comes loose from this front piece. And what holds it up in here is the transmission mount and this crossbar over here. So I think we're good under here. I got that loose, that loose. The other subframe bolt is right there. And that's easy to get to when it's down. as well as that will be as well. That will be. All right, so let's see. Nothing else. Got to go up and get the fuel line, a couple other things. So let's go do that. See you in a minute. All right, I was bringing it down, so I thought, well, let's remove the brake caliper as well as the speed sensor. I guess that's what it's called. Or ABS sensor, one or the other, probably one and the same. So we remove that bolt there, that one, and this bolt, and one down in the bottom. Then we're going to take the caliper and hang it over here. All right, so do that on the other side and you'll be good to go. We got to also take the strut bolts out. That's another reason why we had to remove the dash. All right, well, we're back up top, so we're going to be taking this bracket off, this hose off. We're going to take this bottle loose, couple bolts here, move that out of the way. Your AC system's evacuated, so you're going to take this bolt out, take that hose loose, because that goes over here, as well as the one down there on the compressor. That one comes loose. Tape those ends up, keep it nice and sealed and clean. Then we're going to move over to this bad boy. Not as scary as it looks, but we're going to get to this plug. We're going to separate that. We're going to pull this little shield off, and you've got the prongs from the plugs in here. Each have 2 bolts on them. Remove those bolts, remove these bolts, unplug that goes with the motor. A couple other little doodads. These split, one goes with the motor, one goes over here, which is this one goes over here. This one comes out, goes this way, as well as the bracket for here, which is underneath, comes out. So we got some work to do. See you in a minute. All right, a little recap here. So, you saw we took the bottle out, unhooked that hose. We unhooked the hose from the radiator. When we unhooked that hose, okay, from the bottle, it was just in our way. So, like sometimes you have to improvise, change the way you're going to do something. We still have to take motor mount bolts off. Oh, there's 3 here. There's one from underneath. Okay? Yeah, that's a tricky one. So, and then we'll move to the inverter. There it is. Little locks on the back. You're gonna get in there with your finger and then pull that up. Let's see the little lock on the back. Pull that up. Now this just will come apart. And then let's see. Do it a couple ways. You can take it loose here, which is probably the easier way. Maybe. I don't know, the way things are going. Should come out. Well, that's taped on there, so we'll leave that. And it came off of there, so that's what we wanted it to do anyhow. Holy cow. Why don't you just fumble your way through this stuff? Okay, so we've got a hose right here for the inverter. And this is a clip that you put your little screwdriver in here like so and pull out. And this will pull right off. There we go. See, told you. Okay. That pulls off. Now let's get to the fun part. That's the inverter. Now there's a bunch of dirt and stuff on here I don't want down inside. Probably should have done that 3 days ago, but you know, hey. All right, so we got a little bolt bucket. Now this panel has to. Don't hold the bolts in your hand. You don't want to drop one down inside. Voila. Okay. Those come off. Those come off. Those two come off. This will come out. Those three come off. Those three come off. Voila. And aluminum wants to cross thread really easy, so be careful. All right. Now we can put the little cover back on. And see, there's a little plug here. Alright, so ready to start removing other stuff. Now that the plugs are out of the way, we've got brackets and whatnot. Okay, so we've got this bracket. This is, well, that's holding it to that bracket, holding the inverter. You don't need to take that out, just take the bracket off. That's holding the inverter down. Another bolt over here holding the inverter down. Another hose we need to take off. A couple things. So that's what we're gonna do. This little plug here has a little cap on it, and there's a little 10mm. And pull that off, and that will come out. Right, next, big bolts. All right, next thing is the bracket bolt for the inverter. There's two here, or 1, 2, 3. And I believe, oh, 2 down in there. Moving on. All right, next little pile of spaghetti. This right here. Lift that up. Pull that off. And that clip pulls out. That goes with the car. Take that up right there. Just help protect that a little bit. Thing with this, now we gotta go into here and pull this right here. Alright, this whole little doodad slides up. That one came up. It really shouldn't be this hard. Out. That one's out. Now, what is your problem? It wasn't this hard before. Okay, I don't get it. But you see the clip. But see, you have to push it this way to release it. Ugh. And it wasn't working, but it's off, so that's all we care about. Now, this one here. This one stays. Not this one, but that one. Well, that makes it a little easier. Like I said, I've done this before. That stays there. It stays with the car. That stays with the car. But this doesn't. So, no matter how many times you do this, with the car. Stays with the car. That stays with the car. This stays with the car. That stays with the car. Okay. Okay. Wiring is separated. Now we can put the lid back on. Touch some things. And we've got to get to our strut bolts. Alright, so next up, fuel line. A hose bracket couple other things. Be right back. Alright, so we have the fuel line. That's simple little clasp right there. And you just kind of wiggle and slide at the same time. And it comes out. Yeah, like that. And you have to then pinch the fuel line. It's probably some special tool, but you know how it goes. Well, pinching is easier said than done. There we go. Alright, little gas. That's okay. No biggie. Alright, next thing, hose bracket back here. Loosen that. Should have saved that for last because now it smells like gas in here and I'll get stoned. Baggie over this. So I don't smell so much. Alright, so heater hose. This one. Bracket is not loose down there. We gotta raise the car back up, apparently. Got a bracket, a bolt. Twist, come on, little twist. There we go. Oh, that's not good. That was in like that, or I didn't squeeze it that hard. We'll work on that later. Now we gotta get this one off. Come on. Come off of there. Give me a problem. And more fluid. All right, well, I gotta lift it up because this bracket does not seems like I missed a bolt. So, heater hose, gas line. Should be about everything except for that, whatever's holding this. So, be right back. All right, back under the car, and yeah, I forgot the one, and I don't know how, because it's the one that's a real pain in the butt. It is right up there. See it? To the left of the hose. So, we're going to... There's the layer ratchet, because you can't get it by hand. Not enough room. Yeah, more fluid. And put that little bolt right back in there. Oh, come on. All right, so that should do it. I say that, and I'll find something else, I'm sure. Be right back. All right, got to do a couple things. Got to jack up the transmission a little bit so we can pull the motor mount bolt out. That's going to fall down some. Is what it is. All right, next on the agenda, pulling the motor mount bolt on the transmission mount. Put a jack underneath to jack it up a little bit, relieve some pressure because it will drop if you don't. Well, you won't get the bolt out is the problem. This should be the last thing to remove, but we'll find out when we go to drop the motor. Strut bolts right here. You've got a bracket, that's for your brake. Reservoir, just move that to the side. You got a bracket over there too, so that'll just come off. Tranny mount bolt is a 14, by the way, as these are too. Oh, and yeah, these aren't the last bolts. We have subframe bolts that are in the middle. That's our final bolts to drop. Okay, so what I do is these large carpet rollers, you can probably get them at Harbor Freight, but they work great to drop this down on here. You don't have to put the boards in there. That one does not have the boards in it. So slide it underneath. put the carpet from the back end of the subframe. It's easier to show you here. Back end of the subframe to the front end of the subframe. That part of the frame right there is going to drop. Don't worry about it. It is what it is. It will come out. All right, lower the car down. Yeah, I know not everybody has a lift, but if your buddy does, be real nice to him. All right, subframe bolt is right here. Easiest way to do this, socket this way. Well, no, that's not the easiest way to do it. Okay, easiest way to do it, go up through here like that. All right, so I'm going to remove the motor mount bolt that's right here. Well, I'm not going to remove it. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. And this is the easiest way to do this, usually. It starts coming down. Stop right there. And I'm going to go do the other side. All right, let's lower the car down. I've got that loose. Ones up front are loose. All right, the best for last. We took out the front ones. Now we take out the center ones, which since we've taken all the weight off of it, it's already loose. We literally can just take it out with our fingers. Voila. All right, our front bolts are out. Our center bolts are out, strut bolts are off, our nuts are off. We should be able to drop this thing and it should just come right out. But watch what you're doing, because you may have forgotten something. And a double check in. Yep, forgot something. Heater hose. Hopefully we didn't forget anything else. It happens. Hanging up over over here, which is the mount. Oh, ground wire. Another wire, or not a wire, but a hose. Yeah, it's like I haven't done this before or something, I don't know. But it's a lot of stuff to remember. And you can sit there and stare at it and not see it, obviously. Now this doesn't go over. Yeah, it does. This does. Well, a lot of pressure on that. Got to take that off. Man, that's a big piece not to take off. And when I mean that, I mean that piece that was right there. Get that out of the way. And forgot to take that off right there. Oh man. Come on now. Nothing else. All the hoses are good. That's off. AC lines are off. All those back there are off. The rack's coming down. Everything looks all right. Yep, okay. All right. Let's continue going up. Like I said, just keep checking, check. Well, there's that. She's on the floor. I'll just roll her out of the way. And it's as simple as that. I'm going to change out a few other things. And then we can get ready to roll that up underneath. See you in a minute. All right, time to lower her down. Do everything we just did in reverse. Except for the things we forgot. Okay, as you can see, little by little, we'll get things lined up, get her set down. All right, well, so this thing's been fighting me big time. I got one bolt in the subframe there, the wheel well. Everything else was like shifted over, the front was shifted over. I got one bolt in the back, and I couldn't get things to move around. Well, it turns out, tranny mount was giving me issues, so I loosened that up. Major difference. Things started moving around. I was able to get bolts in all the, well, except for over here, all the subframe parts, because I had to maneuver things. Was having problems with this. I didn't want to break off part of my head or my valve cover, so I loosened that one up too. So now I'm getting ready to jack this side up to line that up. Let's see what happens here. How fun that's going to turn out to be. All right, everybody. So we got a lot of stuff done. In doing so, I went to plug this in, and that's about the time the battery or the SD card got full. So I want to go over this real quick, so you don't make the same mistake I did. So in putting this together, this lock stays open like so. And I was just looking at it, kind of seeing how it works. You know, I tried plugging it in. I couldn't get it to close real easy. And I was looking at it, I thought maybe this would close. Well, apparently my gorilla hands got the best of me, and I tried to close this with this being out like this. Well, pieces flew. And pieces, I mean, see that little doodad right there? See a piece missing, and that one's completely gone. Do not try to squeeze this closed. When you put it in, just let her go in. Yeah, let her go in, and this will move down by itself. It's actuated by a little tongue up inside, and it will close and lock. Mine will no longer do that. So I'm gonna have to come up with an idea. This doesn't lock down either. I don't know why that is even. As far as this right here, because you have to depress this, see, to get that to come off. And I don't know if I broke everything at the same time or what, but don't do that. Just be easy with it. Moving on. All right, before we let it down, do a once over, and we need to move that clamp for the coolant line. I know we need to connect these for the, you know, whatchamajigger, and that whatchamajigger is the inverter. So we'll get those done and start on the brakes. All right, brakes are done, tires are on. Let's put some fluid in this thing. He is running. No goofy lights are on yet. It's running. We're burping. We're burping over here. See it bubbling. But that's good news. We're looking good. We're gonna keep topping off fluids. Probably gonna have to drive it to get that one completely topped off. But I have things to put back together. But she's running. No lights are on. That's a good thing. So, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.